Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Russians started working at the borders. So they start building borders now, with Ukraine at the newly acquired territories. So let's see what's going on over there. The Ukrainians, I assume, are not very happy about it. But I don't think the Russians care. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from today, October 4th, 2022. Russian occupiers build border in Zaporozhye Oblast. The Russian occupiers are building a quote-unquote border in Vasilivka, Zaporozhye Oblast, between Russian-occupied territories and Ukraine, with their various quote-unquote rules on crossing there, according to reports by Alexander Staruk, head of Zaporozhye Oblast Military Administration. Quote from Staruk: "The Russian occupiers are trying to set up a state border in the area around Vasilivka, as they claim with all the crossing rules they have invented. As a result, men of conscription age are not allowed across." Reference: Vasilivka is the only settlements through which residents of the occupied parts of Zaporozhye, Kherson, as well as Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast are being evacuated. Background: currently, there is a disaster in Vasilivka, with a number of people trying to leave the temporarily occupied territories. On October 3rd, an elderly man died in line while waiting to be evacuated. Okay, well, pretty sure a lot of women give birth standing in line. I remember when that happened in Romania in the communist regime. You would stay in line to get milk, or you get another one was sour cream. Hours and hours. You would come in the evening to wait for the next morning when they would open the shop, the store. It was crazy, and that was in peacetime. And people who want communism and socialism, they might think that this kind of things are a common occurrence. They say, no. Okay, give me a good example. Don't give me the capitalist Nordic countries, okay? Give me the socialist, and give me a socialist that created its wealth and all that through socialist methods. Don't give me China, because China without the capitalist investments would have been still plowing with that. Okay, and I'm assuming still is in some rural areas. So yes, without the capitalist intervention and money and investment, with the money created in the capitalist system, brought to China, and then there you go. So let's make sure we got things right. So let's don't go too far from this. The Russians are building borders. They have to control what's going on. I mean, they did this in Kosovo, if you remember. They did checkpoints in Iraq. They did it in Afghanistan. It's not only that this is what the Russians do. What they do in Kosovo, the same way. They put borders, border crossing, and all that. I mean, according to the Russians, those are their territories. What do you want them to do? No. Just according to the Kosovarians, the Albanian Serbs who live in the province of Kosovo, that country, that territory, that is theirs. Recognized by some countries, well, 101 or 102, still recognized. But the same here, based on Russian understanding and actually the referenda, which is the will of the people. They express their free vote and all that. That's Russia. Well, we'll see more of this, but the problem is, how long can you keep that in your hands and say, hey, this is my border crossing here. The demarcation between these two countries. Obviously, the Ukrainians don't give a damn about that, and they will just cross it if they could with their army. So we'll see if the Russians can defend their motherland now. And it seems like they have Ukrainians on those territories. We'll see. We'll see until the whole process of the admission of those territories ends on the paper in Moscow. And when that ends, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see if they're going to tell the Ukrainians to stop fighting, and if they don't, then it's going to be the doomsday or something. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't think they're going to use the military to push the Ukrainians back. I think they're going to say, you know what, as I said before, they're going to use Harry Truman's justification for dropping atomic bombs. We save lives and we shorten the war. Yeah, but you kill 200,000 Japanese civilians, right? And more, with the aftermath. So yeah, it's a very logical way of doing, I guess, things. So I don't know. It's dangerous. We're moving to this direction. I don't know. Obviously, because if the Russians are able to keep, let's say, their borders, new borders safe, that means the other guys. Do you think the other guys are just gonna get tired of shooting at you? So you're always gonna have war at the border, and as long as the sponsors, which is the United States and some weasel followers, bottom feeders, the collective West, so-called, actually in control is only one, and the rest are just vassal states, until they will still provide ammunition and weapons, there will be a war over there. So how are you going to solve the problem, Putin? How are you going to solve it? Will you think that the other guys are going to get tired? They will never get tired because they don't do anything to hurt them. Nothing is going to hurt them. You think that the war is going to become unpopular in the United States or something? They are going to change the paradigm. They're going to say, well, actually, your standard of living is not because decreases, lowers, not because of the war, but it's because, I don't know, the pandemic or maybe the moon phases, or they can give whatever. Remember, we have among us a big chunk of people, it's about 40% of people below 86 IQ. Now, you know what below 86 IQ is? All right, if you don't, I'm not going to provide you with the answer, but 40% at least. How can you not maneuver those 40% however you want, having the mass media available to those guys? Those guys are still watching cable news. They're still getting their news from CNN, MSNBC, and all that. What do you expect? And they vote. They vote. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.